it's me, That One Bookmaker. Today we are going to be talking about my book. The one you guys have been seeing me work on through the several parts of my hang out with me while I write thing. So, first off, we're going to start. This part is going to be about my characters. This segment of the video will be about my characters. And then we will go into the virus, all of it, and then we're gonna go into, I know how it's gonna go. I'm gonna try and leave time stuff in the description so you can skip to whatever parts you want to hear about. First off, we're gonna start with James. Because James is our main character's father, so we need to talk about him before we can talk about the main character. So, James is, how old did I say he was? He's not too old, but he's not young. He's like late 30s, early 40s. I'll have to look at my notes on the computer later. But he is a plant researcher. So his story, his background is, in 2025, he was with a group of his team of researchers, and they found a mushroom, obviously because mushrooms. And so he was talking to his group about how they need to study this mushroom because it's not a mushroom they've seen before. They don't know about this. It's a new discovered plant. And so as their job as plant researchers, they need to research it, study it, figure it out. Figure out, is this thing deadly? Yes. So, hold on, is my chair lowered? Oh my god, someone lowered my chair. No wonder I feel short. But, so, he told his team, okay, so we need to do this, and this. And so, what did they do? They did it. But, why he is still alive is because after having that conversation with his team, he got a call from another group. Sorry, it's cold and I'm coughing a lot. Another group he worked with that said, hey, we figured out new information about this, and this. Just nothing revolving around the mushroom because they just found it, so. And they're like, so we're gonna need you to come here and just like explain all this stuff, because he had just reported all of that, and so they were like, we found out stuff about this and we need you to come explain it. And so, sorry, I got distracted. So what did he do? He jumped on a plane. Don't do that. He went on a plane and he left. And later on, his wife called him and was like, so, we're having a child. So, she's pregnant. Ooh, little fuzzes in the air from my little sweater. And so he was like, oh, cool, nice to know. He was obviously excited. And he still had to work. So later on, the team had done research on the thing and been around it a lot, all the fun stuff. Which turns out not to be fun when people are getting sick and dying. But, so, yeah. And eventually, after a while, the sickness that came from the mushroom that he found, who are you? That he found, got around the world because, we'll talk about the actual virus in a minute. We need to get over the characters first. If you're more interested in the virus part, just go ahead and skip, because I go in detail when I talk about my stuff. And so, a while past, he's been keeping up with all the new information about the mushroom he found because, hey, he discovered this thing. He's got to figure out what is happening. So, after a while, he got another call from a hospital, and he's like, so your child was born, but your wife isn't alive. Because while the wife was pregnant, she got infected, and so she was like in the end stages of the infection when Aspen, the child, was delivered. But the hospital also said, but your daughter is like completely fine. You're gonna need to come pick her up. So he came back and picked up Aspen and was like, how is my daughter completely fine when her mother was infected when carrying her? Carrying as in, yeah. Try not to go into too much detail because people say I too much detail when talking about that part. But he then took his daughter home and was like, okay, what is going on here? And of course, he got another call. Like, so your daughter's fine. We're gonna need to keep an eye on her, because if she's fine, but because, hold on, let me explain. Just a little side note here. It's not common for babies whose mother were infected when carrying them to live. It's not impossible, and they're just now figuring that out. So, yeah. They were like, so you're gonna need to keep an eye on her, you know. If she lived after her mother was infected when carrying her, this might mean there's a way to save the next generation of children. And James was like, use my child as a lab rat? And they were like, no. Well, yes, but no. Just keep an eye on her, take notes, see how she progresses in life. And if you're not willing to, I mean, we can. We're trying to keep your daughter out of the lab, but you just have to cooperate with us. And James was like, the government sucks. I'm sorry, I find this funny because I'm the one writing it. But like, he was like, fine, just keep my daughter out of the lab, I'll keep you updated, I guess. Like, put the phone down. I do this, but they had like cell phones. I just don't like doing like, It's like, easier. But yeah, that's James for you. Oh. I'll tell you that when it comes to Aspen's part, which is right now. So, Aspen, James's child. One moment. water. Hydrate yourself and feed yourself. Take care of yourself. I care about you guys a lot. Take care of yourself. Now it is time for Aspen's part. Aspen is James's child, obviously. And so Aspen was born to a mother who was infected. Her mother passed after Aspen was born, so she never knew her mother. But she did know her... Sorry, my family is watching the movie downstairs while I record this. So she didn't know her mom, but she did know her dad. And what she didn't know was, 1, that she was immune. 2, that her dad was keeping tabs on her to document how she survives with this immunity. 3, that there were other children like her. 4, that the government used children as subjects to find an immunity. Blank. I'm writing this, guys. Oh my god. Okay. Chill. It's your book. But she didn't know the stuff. My mouth is like a void. You're weird. So I'm gonna put this back up here. Her father kept her out of that. She grew up not knowing that until she grew up learning all the basic stuff. How to read, how to write, how to walk, how to speak, how to fish, which, oh my god, I have the cutest mini story of how she learned to fish that I want to read to you guys eventually. I will save that for a different time though. So she grew up thinking she was a normal child. She was aware that there was a virus involving mushrooms in the air and spores and all that. She was aware because her father's like, okay, she needs to know this exists, but she doesn't need to know how she's a part of it. Because he wanted to keep her safe. He wanted to give her as much of the normal life that he could. He didn't do any of this out of any negative intentions. He just did it because he was like, I want to give you a normal life despite how not normal you are. Because immunity is semi-rare. It's more common for children to just... But for a child to be born completely immune to the entire thing, that has, like, the scientists are like, give them to me. Let's put them in a lab. But, where did my, oh, here it is. My mom got me a beauty blender, but I don't do foundation often, so I'm just, like, squeezing it. But she grew up thinking, everything's fine. Sure, there's this deadly virus out there involving a mushroom. Sure, like, my dad researches this thing, because she knew her dad studied plants because it's his job. He just now does it from, like, a mini cottage in the woods. It's not an actual cottage, it's, like, a normal house, but more nature-y. And built to live in, like, far places deep in the woods because he's like, I want to keep you away from people. Because people are dangerous. Not really, he just wanted... I'm kidding, I know why. He wanted to keep her away from people, yes. Because, 1, if she's in a very populated area, she's gonna learn more and more about this and wonder, hey, why am I not reacting like they do to this stuff? And 2, because the further away from public places she is, the less likely labs are gonna be like, hey, I know we had a deal, but I want her. He did it for her safety and his. But yeah. They live further off in a wooded area, which, cool. But everything was normal for so long. She was like, okay, cool. I have a garden, I have my dad, I have all the things I could possibly need, and everything is great. Until someone came into the story. Time to talk about Anna. Anna. Anna is amazing. Absolutely amazing. But let's start with her backstory. She was born immune, like Aspen. And being born immune, her mother obviously passed due to the infection after she was birthed. So, say a lot, I'm sorry, but she immediately after tests were done, like blood tests to test if she had any stuff, x-rays to make sure she didn't have any spore pockets in her lungs, basic things like how responsive she was. They all were like, okay, this child's immune, time to contact Adam. We'll talk about Adam in a minute. So she was then taken to a facility where they don't test on like 0-year-olds. They just like raise them, see how they grow, see like if they get sick at all. Like, yes, they can catch the flu. They can get sick, they just don't get sick with the virus. Which it would have been funny if I just made them immune to all sicknesses, but no, that wouldn't be realistic. This isn't realistic, this is a mushroom virus. The words are hard. Water. So, after all the tests were ran, she was brought to a facility, and she went through like her first like 4 years of life there. And then she was brought to another facility where they start running basic tests on her. Blood tests to see if they can draw out whatever's making them immune. Weekly checkups to make sure they're still immune. Because they want to figure out, is this a limited thing or is this a forever thing and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. And as she got older, she eventually, after a few more years, she was brought to a different segment of the facility, and they ran harder tests, like studying her brain activity, studying more stuff. And it was like, she was like, this is weird. And then she finally got to get this is where I ruined this poor girl's life. So as she got older, she eventually got to see her father, because her father is still alive. Every once in a while, like he would visit. She had a sister, and she got to see her sister grow up, and then her father remarried. And stuff went downhill from there. As the visits became less frequent, and when they did happen, the dad was just not weird, but not his usual self. And the remarried mother, she just didn't like her. She's like, Dad, I'm in a lab, my mom is dead, and you remarried? She was not pleased. So, eventually, she got the news that her father was no longer because he got sick with the virus. And she was devastated. She was like, that was my dad, that was my sister. Oh, and then we had Bethany. Bethany, I made biscuits. Anyway, sorry, that's one of my favorite audios. But yeah, oh, by the way, that's my dolls. So, eventually, as the years went on, she was like, I'm sick of this. This government, this lab, this place sucks. Why are we using children and teens as lab rats just for something that might never be able to happen? Which their goal in the lab was to like figure out what's giving them immunity and to eventually turn it into like a cure to make people no longer able to catch this, so that eventually the virus would just be wiped out. Oh my god, I'm writing this. She was like over it, and she was like, why? Just, who in their right mind thinks it's okay to take these children's childhoods away and turn them into lab rats? What on planet Earth is happening? And one day, one lucky day, the guards that, not guards, but like people who bring the children place to place, they had their own, my beauty blender! They had their own rooms and stuff, so they were bringing her to her room for the night. And the door didn't work properly, so she snuck out and she left. She ran for her life. She left at the age of 13. 13, turning 14 in like less than a week for her. And she ran. She ran far as she could that night. I don't like the shadows on my face. But now she is like 17, well, not 17, like 18. Because her personality is like the sassy young adult who still has the mind of like a sassy teen. She's either gonna be 17 or 18, just like Aspen. So, sorry, I'm picking out like a spot on my scalp. So she ran far and fast. She was like, I do not want to go there. Her goal was find a place I can live where I can restart my life and enjoy it this time. And so she did just that. She ran for a while. She's now like I said, 17 or 18. And she's legit. Her goal, her main goal for the entire story that will be stated several times, is she wants to find a place to settle down and enjoy her life and maybe find someone to be her partner. She wants to have her own life where she can fix everything that... Oh my god, is that a snail? It's a teeny tiny baby snail. Sorry. I need to get moss for him again. But yeah. That is Anna. Anything else that matters about Anna? Nope. Okay. Time to talk about Adam. Okay. Summary. He sucks. There we go. End. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You can already tell who I don't like. Adam is the guy who runs the facility that Anna lived. He also has mild contact with James because he's a scientist as well who's studying this. He needs updates. He's the guy James has to call every once in a while, be like, okay, here's like the yearly update about Aspen. Just take it and go. They're not friends, they are just co-workers that don't even know each other's names. And yeah. Adam ran the research facility, the lab, basically. They call it a research facility for children. It's a research facility of children, which is just basically their polite way of putting, we study your kids. That is just a polite way of them saying, yeah, we use your kids as test subjects and we're using them to try and find a cure for a virus we don't know if we'll ever be able to get rid of. I might just make a part 2 of for the virus because this is getting long. And Adam, again, like late 30s. And yeah, he's the guy who everybody hates. And if anyone, when I eventually finish this book and give it to people to read, like basically just publish, and people say, oh yeah, my favorite character's Adam, I'm going to look at them and be like, sweetie, who hurt you? Sweetie, no, you need a hug. You need a stuffed animal and some hot cocoa. And some sweet, sweet therapy. Oh god. Cause if anyone's favorite character is Adam, I'm questioning them. Hardcore questioning them like an interrogation. I'm kidding. People's favorite characters can be their favorite characters. Does not mean I'm gonna agree with them. But yeah, Adam is a researcher who has done research for years now. He's worked at this lab, he's helped with the studies, he's done all the stuff. And, he just doesn't care. He's just like, literally, in my imagination, his words, if anyone questioned, why do you think it's okay to study children when the test could possibly, like, and he's like, well, if we lose a couple hundred lives, what's that to a couple thousand? They're children. He's not a good person at all. He has no intentions to be either. He's just blind. He's like, I do not care. It's my job. I'm getting paid, and they're just kids. Sir, excuse me. I don't like him. I don't like him. Sorry, that is my stand you guys are on. I'm just trying to adjust the height since I moved. Yeah, I do not enjoy writing Adam at all. 0% enjoyment out of creating this man. But yeah, those are my characters. If you have any other questions about them, please ask them in the comment section down below. And if you've enjoyed this video and stuck around to watch it this far, maybe consider liking and subscribing. I'm trying to hit 50 subscribers so that I can do live videos. So if you guys could help me hit that goal, that I would appreciate it. Bye bye guys, I love you, non-romantically, and I will see you in my next video tomorrow.